grew up in South Carolina, a town called Anderson. I had graduated from high school and I was sitting at the doctor's office with my grandmother's, and I look in my rearview mirror and I see Naval Reserve Center. And I went, ding ding, you know how things happen sometimes? And the ding ding was, oh, why don't I join the service? And so I took my grandmother home, I went to the recruiting office, I said, I'd like to join the service. They said, which one? Deer in the headlight, I have to pick one. This is how naive I was at the time. I was 18 years old. About that time, a Navy recruiter comes around the corner and he says, come with me, little lady, I can help you out. Boot camp in 1973 for women, we were all segregated from the men, and it was just, you know, marching around, and we actually, in those days, we were still learning how to put makeup on and things like that. And then my first duty station after that was in Corpus Christi, Texas. It was in a VT-28, and that was a training squadron. We had S-2 aircraft, which were reciprocating engine aircraft. So we maintained them and taxied them and fueled them and did all of those interesting things. That was a 3-year tour for me there, and at the end of those 3 years, I re-enlisted at that time. It was an overseas tour for me, and so I went to what was an intermediate maintenance facility in Misawa, Japan. We supported P-3 ASW aircraft, and so we were the ones that made sure components were repaired and things like that for the P-3 aircraft. I did all of the aviation administration sorts of things for that. I leave Misawa and go back to Texas again, to Chase Field, which was in Beeville, Texas. I went into a T2 squadron, and T2's training again. I knew I wanted to do something else, so I finished my undergraduate degree and then went to OCS. My first duty station as an officer was at Jacksonville, Florida. And there I was in a S3 squadron. That's kind of when I started doing more managing maintenance training for people that needed to go to the S3 squadrons. We were training them to go to the fleet, to be in the fleet aircraft. And so I was part of the group that was in maintenance training. At this point in time, I'd met my husband. I met him in Newport, and so they stationed me in Japan, and that's where I was in a protocol job. Protocol is the job where I was in charge of arranging VIP visits and taking care of the VIPs and making sure that the right people sat beside the right people. I had to be efficient, and I had to be on top of things. I had to be a good manager. It was probably the tour of duty that I learned the most about the Navy, but about myself as well. We transferred from there to the Seattle area. Then we ended up going from there to Long Beach, California. My participation in Desert Storm was mobilizing reservists, mostly medical backfill at the time, but you know, up until that point, we really hadn't mobilized people since World War II. If you think about it, we didn't know what was going to happen, how long it was going to be, so we had to kind of prepare for the worst and have that kind of attitude, hey, we're at war. I left and went down to New Orleans, and from New Orleans, I went to the Pentagon. I ended up working on the staff of Chief of Naval Operations for Reserve Affairs. I did Women in the Navy, training technology, and I did exchange programs with the Brits and the Germans, and I just did a lot of interesting things. It was a good time to be a woman in the military. And I think I say that because, it was one of these things where I was scrutinized more, but that additional scrutiny also helped me be more visible, which helped me find opportunities. And then, of course, it was up to me to take advantage of those opportunities. I don't think I thought of myself at the time as a woman in the Navy. I thought of myself as a sailor or an officer. I think a lot of us felt that way. We didn't want special treatment. We wanted to earn it.